Every single second, there are millions of emails flying back and forth, huge amounts of money being transferred, and just countless private messages exchanged all over the world. It's all just data. But how do we keep that data from falling into the wrong hands? Well, today, we're going to build a kind of digital fortress, piece by piece, to see how network security really works.
So what is it that we're actually trying to protect? Take a look at this. It might seem like a simple list, but imagine this with millions of names. Every single company or school you deal with, your job, your bank, your doctor, they all have a file just like this about you. It's basically a digital blueprint of your life.
Now pause for a second and think. What if that was your name on that list, your home address, your exact salary, just out there for anyone to see? It's a really unsettling thought, right? And that is exactly why protecting this information isn't just some nice idea. It's an absolute necessity.
And it goes way, way deeper than just your contact info. We're talking about things like your private medical records, your old school records, and even customers' bank details. Every single one of these is a potential weak spot, a vulnerability. And that's why that very first line of defense has to be incredibly strong.
That first line of defense starts with building a perimeter, a kind of digital wall that separates the private internal network from the wild west of the public internet.
And that wall has a name. It's called a firewall. You can think of it like the network's own personal border control. It looks at every little packet of data trying to get in or out and asks, okay, what's your business here? Is this a normal request for a website, or is this something sketchy trying to sneak past? The firewall has to make that call in a split second.
Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a bouncer at a club. They stand at the door, they check everyone's ID. If you're not on the list or you look like you're going to cause trouble, you're not getting in. It's really as simple as that.
But okay, just getting past the main bouncer is only step one. Inside that club, there are VIP rooms, and each of those has its own lock. So, once you're inside the network, how do we make sure only the right people get into the right places?
That's where something called authentication comes into play. It's really just the process of proving you are who you claim to be. This is that second, super important layer of security that makes sure that even if someone is on a trusted network, they can only access the information they're actually allowed to see.
Now, the most common way to authenticate is, of course, a password. But a simple password is like a cheap, flimsy lock. That's why we have all these rules. You ever wonder why they make you use over 10 characters with symbols? It's to stop computers from guessing millions of combinations a second. And why no names? To stop hackers from using your public info to guess their way in. Every rule is there for a reason.
But here's the thing, passwords can be stolen. A much, much stronger key is something you are. And that's the whole idea behind biometrics. It uses your unique physical traits, like a fingerprint or your face, as the key. I mean, you can't exactly steal someone's fingerprint in an email, can you?
So, what's the gold standard today? Well, it's something that combines these ideas. It's called two-factor authentication, or 2FA. It forces you to prove who you are in two different ways. First, with something you know, that's your password, and second, with something you have, like that one-time code that gets sent to your phone. Think about it. Unless a hacker has stolen both your password and your phone, they are locked out.
Okay, so we've got the perimeter secured with a firewall, and we're guarding the gates with authentication. But what if a hacker is super clever and somehow manages to grab data while it's in transit? This brings us to the final, and maybe most powerful layer of defense.
And that final defense is called encryption. The idea behind it is pretty simple. You have to assume the worst. Assume a hacker will get past the firewall and will intercept your data. Encryption makes sure that even if they do, all they end up with is a bunch of useless scrambled gibberish.
And here's what that actually looks like. On the left, you've got plain text. Totally readable, a huge risk. But once it's encrypted, it turns into that jumbled mess on the right. An attacker could have this file and it would be completely worthless to them. The security isn't just in the walls anymore, it's baked right into the data itself.
It's really just like a secret code you might have used as a kid. You'd write a message, but you'd use a special cipher so that only your friend who knew the secret could actually read it. Encryption is just a massively more complex and unbreakable version of that same idea.
So with all these amazing tools, firewalls, authentication, encryption, the solution seems pretty obvious, right? Just turn all the security settings up to the max. But, in the real world, it's just not that simple. There's always a trade-off.
This quote really says it all. There's this constant push and pull between making something totally secure and making it easy to use. I mean, think about a school. It has to be secure, of course, but it also has to be easy for hundreds of students and teachers to log in and use every single day.
This table really lays out that conflict perfectly. Over on the left, you've got high security. We're talking super complex passwords you have to change all the time. 2FA for everything. It's like Fort Knox, but it can be slow and a real pain. Then on the right, you have high convenience. A simple password you never change. It's fast, it's easy, but it's also leaving the front door wide open. Every organization has to figure out where on the spectrum they need to be.
And really, this is the question we all have to answer for ourselves. For your banking app, you probably want maximum security, right? But for some random social media account, maybe you're okay with a little less. So I'll leave you with this. Where do you draw that line? How much convenience are you willing to trade for some real peace of mind?